Good evening. My name is Sheikh Sagir Ali. I am an assistant professor of English literature, Medinipur College, West Bengal. Today, my topic is the Muslim problem, a majoritarian concern in India. I call it a majoritarian problem in India. See, shortly after 11 September 2001, former American President George Bush declared every nation in every region now has a decision to make. Either you are with us or you are with the terrorists. The proposed binary is that to oppose the war meant to some that one somehow felt sympathy with the terrorism, or that one saw the terror as justified, as declared by Judith Butler. This polarization is framed in terms of a moral dualism between good and evil, the distinction between civilized and barbaric, and between freedom and fear is an important line of division, separating the world into two different spheres with different moralities. In the wake of Ram Mandir Bhumi Pujan, the laying of the foundation of proposed Ram temple in Ayodhya at the site of a destroyed mosque, our Prime Minister has finally unleashed his transformative nationalist agenda in his second term by implementing statist measures like UCC, Uniform Civil Code, and NRC, National Register of Citizens. The emergence of Ram Mandir Bhumi Pujan, CAA, and the national paranoia stirred over Tablighi Jamaat gatherings in Delhi has sundered India into discordant cultural spaces, characterized by an Orientalist binary of us and them. Okay? The cesspit of maniacal differences, diabolical political designs, and the discrimination is noteworthy as a Muslim scholar's appointment as a Sanskrit professor at the famed Banaras Hindu University was boycotted over his religion. And it echoes the times we are living in when languages are categorized, castigated, and compartmentalized into ours and theirs. Our Prime Minister has described the protesters at CAA protest as disgruntled Muslims and saying that they could be identified by their clothes, quote unquote. All the lessons of cultural syncretism become moribund. And as a Muslim, you stopped being an individual and started being an entire religion, as said by Kamila Samsi, the novelist. These things not only trigger hostile feelings towards Islam and Muslims, but have also led to Muslims facing racial, religious, and cultural profiling. Shaheen Bagh has also been termed as Pakistan in India. These narratives draw upon those relations that exemplify what Arjuna Appadurai, the philosopher, terms geography of anger. As Appadurai observes, the geography of anger is the spatial outcome of complex interactions between faraway events and proximate fears, between old histories and new provocations, between retained borders and unwritten orders. So, xenophobia against Muslims, according to Appadurai, does not only prevail in the West, it has been rampaging in South Asia since the 1947 partition of Pakistan and India at both state and individual levels. Kamila Samsi reflected in her novel Burnt Shadows this sentiment or this kind of issues through the discussion between Altamas and Bilal, where she says, quote unquote, "It's not funny," Altamas explained. In India, when they want to insult Muslims, they call us Pakistani. Bilal had laughed out aloud. And in Pakistan, when they want to insult Mujahids, they call us Indians. This is how Kamila Samsi explained the thing. So, such accounts of intercultural rivalry can be traced at the interstate level. In Bombay in December 1992, the communal riots emanating from the demolition of Babri Masjid in Ayodhya, abrogation of the Article 370 in Jammu and Kashmir, protests at Shaheen Bagh are important examples of happenings that set the ground for large narratives of terror and prejudice tension. Such provincial tensions exemplify the volatile relationship between the maps of national and global politics, largely produced by official institutions and producers, and maps of sacred national space produced by political and religious parties, which consequently become fractals of wider perspectives and images, as said by Arjunappa Durai. Now I will tell you another thing. In order to reinforce the stereotype about Muslims, the campaign's most aspect was that some political party, their effort was enriched by the infusion of language taken from the global war on terror, which for them and their allies become one and the same as the national campaign to reduce Muslims to a humiliated and ghettoized minority. Okay, so the narratives of intercultural regional antagonism between Muslims and Hindus result in growing xenophobia. Okay, so the popular paradigm for understanding the contours of cultural stereotype is probably shaped by the philosopher Homike Bhabha in his essay The Other Question. Bhabha suggests the psychoanalytic parallel of the stereotype that resonates both desire for and the fear of the other. Bhabha mentions the essential components of ambivalence in the recognition and projection of such images as stereotypes, and the ever-changing historical circumstances in which the connotation of such images are constantly being broken, made and remade in numerous forms. Okay? So, see, now I will tell you another thing, the post-secular term. The post-secular possibilities does not necessarily mean that they are anti-secular, nor are they relinquishing secularism or embracing religion. It can diagnose that enchantment alone is not the provision of religion, and can equip with the steep questions of the political while endorsing the dimensions of religion. While the post-secular moves beyond the parochial and monolithic understanding of religion, it should ever be wary of pandering to the ipsity of a sovereign self. Okay. So in summing up, I would say that the identity of a Muslim other in the Indian public discourse has been most importantly structured by the decade-long revival of Hindutva. The formations of religious identity in the present Indian situation are enmeshed in the dynamics of both the colonial and the post-colonial modernist projects that have been contended by scholars, several scholars. So modernity changes fundamentally what people are, what they think they are, and more fundamentally and elusively their way of being what they are. Hindus and Muslims of course existed earlier as well, but they are Hindus and Muslims now in quite different way. And there is a new way of being Hindu or a Muslim. So at last I will say that Jacques Derrida his notion of the coexistence, what he contends as another tolerance with the possibility of an ethical relationship and welcoming the other, would respect the separation of infinite alterity as singularity between no relation of exchange, reciprocity and calculation. His proposed ethics of living together connotes equity and justice in multi-religious political sphere, and it is structurally different from the arrogant tolerance of disdain and superiority. Thank you very much.